Hi guys, a very warm welcome to all of you in our YouTube channel Gurmantra Siksha Kavan. I'm your educator Saranya, and today we are going to learn about genomic DNA library. In the previous class we studied about cDNA library, complementary DNA library, and in today's class we are going to learn about genomic DNA library. So genomic DNA libraries are sequences of genome. Okay, they are nothing but genomic sequences. These can be produced using DNA from any organism. Any organism's genome you can take and you can produce a genomic DNA library. A genomic library contains all the sequences present in the genome of an organism. Okay. A genomic DNA library for a particular organism will contain all the sequences present in the genome of that particular organism. It is a collection of cloned restriction enzyme digested DNA fragments that contain at least one copy of every DNA sequence in the genome. Okay, the entire genome of an organism is represented as a set of DNA fragments inserted into a vector molecule. This is what happens in a genomic DNA library. So the total genome of an organism will be cut into DNA fragments. It will be inserted into the vector and will be transformed into a host like E. coli and it will be produced. This is same like cDNA library only. There are few differences that also we'll see, but it is similar to cDNA library only. A genomic library is a collection of independently isolated vector-linked DNA fragments derived from a single organism, which means from a single organism we are going to isolate a genome, the total genome. That will be cut into small fragments, DNA fragments, and that fragments will be inserted into the vector independently. Okay, and this will form a genomic library. It contains at least one copy of every DNA sequence in the genome. An ideal library is one that represents all the sequence with smallest possible number of clones. The genomic DNA libraries can be prepared by the complete digestion of the total genomic DNA. That's what I told you. The total genomic DNA will be taken and complete digestion of that DNA into smaller fragments will be done with the restriction enzyme. And these fragments will be inserted into a suitable vector. Okay, it will be inserted into a suitable vector. You can see here cut made by restriction enzymes that recognizes a specific nucleotide sequence. This is the E. coli chromosome. Okay, this is the E. coli chromosome that is cut into small pieces, and this is the plasmid. This is the plasmid. Okay, this is the gene of interest. This is the plasmid. This is the genomic DNA, and this is the plasmid. Now we are going to ligate. Now we are going to ligate this. Ligate what? The genomic DNA fragments, which is our gene of interest, into the plasmid. And how do you ligate using the enzyme DNA ligase? Okay, you are going to use the enzyme DNA ligase for ligation of the restriction fragments and the plasmid. And as you ligate, we get the recombinant plasmid. Recombinant plasmid means it will have the combination of the plasmid and the genomic DNA fragments. Okay, so recombinant plasmid will be obtained as a result. So what are the steps in genomic DNA library construction? First is isolation of genomic DNA. Second is generation of suitable size of DNA fragments, that is cutting of genomic DNA into small pieces. Third, cloning it in the suitable vector system, which means in a vector you're going to put these DNA fragments which are our gene of interest. Okay, these DNA fragments which are our gene of interest will be put in the vector. Then you're going to get the recombinant plasmid. This recombinant plasmid you're going to transform it into a suitable host. So these are the steps in the genomic DNA library. So first, lysis of the cells. You're going to lyse the cell, enzymatic digestion. Okay, these are the steps in order to get the pure mammalian genomic DNA. To get the mammalian genomic DNA itself is a very big step. Okay, it is not a simple thing. To get the genomic DNA itself is a multi-step process, and every step has to be very much taken care, because so many enzymes, so many reagents are involved. Okay, so these steps are involved in the separation of genomic DNA. Okay, and after you get the genomic DNA, you will have to check it whether it is correctly genomic DNA only or not. For that, you will run it in a agarose gel electrophoresis. Okay, so what happens in a genomic DNA library construction? This is the genomic DNA. Okay, that is isolated from a cell. So these are the cells. From these cells, we are going to isolate the genomic DNA. Okay, genomic DNA, and you're going to restrict it, which means cut it using the restriction enzymes like this. You have a plasmid vector, that also you're going to cut it. Now you're going to ligate the genomic DNA fragments to the vectors, plasmid vectors. And finally you will get recombinant plasmid. That recombinant plasmid, you're going to transform it into a bacteria, say E. coli. Okay. Then you're going to amplify it. You're going to create multiple clones. Okay. You're going to create multiple clones of the DNA. Then you're going to isolate the DNA from these bacteria, and you're going to collect them and keep it as a genomic DNA library, where you'll have so many different and so many amount of DNA. So it is possible to calculate the number of recombinants. Okay, you'll also have to calculate the number of recombinants, right? That must be in a genomic library to give a particular probability of obtaining a particular sequence. And the formula is n is equal to ln of 1 minus p divided by ln of 1 minus f. P means the probability, desired probability. And F means the fraction of genome in one insert. Okay, the fraction of genome in one insert is F, the fraction of genome, and P is the probability. This is the formula, note it down, very important. So this is all actually happens in a genomic DNA library creation. You actually take a DNA from an organism, say human DNA. You're going to cleave it with restriction enzymes so that you get small fragments. These fragments you're going to insert inside a plasmid vector, okay, and then you will get a recombinant plasmid. This recombinant plasmid you're going to insert it inside a bacteria or a host. That is called as transformation. Then you will get a genomic library, okay. Okay, so first what you're going to do is you're going to do agarose gel electrophoresis. Each lane contains the same genomic DNA sample, each digested with different set of restriction enzymes. Okay, that is the first step. Second step is blotting. Paper towels, what do you do? For DNA, you do southern blot. Okay, you're going to do southern blot. Southern blot techniques you're going to learn in detail in future classes, but for now, southern blotting is done, which means you're going to take this gel. From this gel, DNA will be transferred into a sheet, a nylon filter. Okay, it will be transferred into a nylon filter using the setup of southern blotting. After that, you're going to use probes. You're going to use probes for hybridizing the target DNA. After hybridizing the target DNA, you're going to see it in the autoradiograph because it is radio labeled. The probe is radio labeled, so it will go and bind to the gene of interest and it will give you the emission, and that you can see in the autoradiograph. By this way, you can actually select what type of sequence you want to clone for the genomic DNA library. Okay. So construction of genomic DNA library has the following steps. First one, isolation of DNA and isolation of vector. Then cleavage of the genomic DNA and cleavage of the vector by using restriction endonuclease. Then you are going to ligate the DNA fragments of the vector to the genomic DNA. Okay. Now transformation of this recombinant plasmid into the cell, bacterial cell, and amplification of the recombinant DNA in the bacterial cell. As the bacteria divides, your recombinant DNA will also be getting amplified. Okay, so that is what is happening in the genomic DNA library. Okay, so this is the genomic DNA library versus cDNA library. All the steps have been given in this. Okay. So this is the organism from which you're going to extract the DNA, genomic DNA, restrict it, insert it inside a vector, transform it inside a bacteria to get the genomic DNA library. That's it. cDNA library, you're going to obtain mRNA, convert it into cDNA using reverse transcriptase. Then you're going to restrict the cDNA. Then you're going to take these inserts inside a vector which will give you a recombinant plasmid. Then you're going to transform it into a bacteria. Then you're going to grow it, isolate the plasmids, purify them and sequence them. So these are the two different types of libraries which you can create. So you can see all the steps involved in the genomic DNA library and cDNA library. All of this we have discussed in the earlier classes and even in the today class. Take a minute, slowly and steadily go through the picture. Go through the picture to understand the steps. Okay, go through the picture for the genomic DNA library as well as cDNA library to understand each and every steps involved in the library construction. Okay guys, I hope you have gone through the two diagrams, two steps, okay, for creating genomic DNA library and cDNA library. Very simple, okay, very simple. So let's see some of the differences between the genomic DNA library and cDNA library. So the genomic library includes all possible fragments of the DNA from a given cell. So that will also contain introns, okay, but cDNA library contains only the expressed gene sequences, which means non-coding regions will not be present in cDNA library. But in genomic DNA library, all the sequence present in the organism will be there. A genomic DNA library is basically larger in size and cDNA library is smaller in size. Yes, of course. This represents the entire genome of an organism, both coding as well as non-coding regions. But cDNA, it represents only the expressed parts of the genome. That is called as expressed sequence tags, which means the coding regions only. Expression of genes takes place from genomic library is difficult in the prokaryotic systems like bacteria due to the absence of splicing mechanism. Exactly. For eukaryotic genes to be expressed in the prokaryotic system, there is a very big demerit. That is, it cannot be done because in the eukaryotic genes, you will have the introns. Those introns have to be spliced to give you a functional protein. That is not done in the eukaryotic system because there is no splicing mechanism. But in cDNA, there is no problem for that because already the sequence which is present is without the intron only. Right. Vectors used in the genomic DNA library include plasmid, plasmid, lambda phage, BAC, YAC because a large fragment can be incorporated. Vectors used in the cDNA library will be plasmid, phagemid, lambda phage. Okay. Genomic library contains elaborated sequence information representing total genome of the cell. Okay. The cDNA library contains only limited information about the coding sequence. Okay. So genomic DNA library has the following applications. It helps in the determination of the complete genome sequence, complete genomic sequence of a particular organism. So it will be like a source of genomic sequence for generation of transgenic animals through genetic engineering. We can study the regulatory functions of the sequences in vitro. It also helps in the study of genetic mutations like in cancer tissues. It helps in identification of the novel pharmaceutical important genes which could be targeted. Also, it helps us to understand the complexity of the genomes. Okay. So you can see here a very clear picture about the genomic DNA library organism from this organism. Genome is extracted, cut into small pieces using restriction enzymes, inserted into a vector or a plasmid, then from there transformed into a bacteria. And that will be actually maintained as a genomic DNA library. So how do you hybridize it? Using a colony plot hybridization. So you have a Petri plate, okay, where colonies of different E. coli cells carrying different fragments will be there. You're going to use a blotting technique and going to get the DNA DNA from the colonies. Okay, you're going to lyse the cell and DNA denaturation and fix it. Next, you're going to use the probes to label it. Okay, then you're going to visualize the probes. Whatever hybridized DNA is present, that is your gene of interest. By this method, you can actually find which particular clones are required for you. You can actually, from this plate, you're going to trace back to this plate and going to pick up the colonies and which particular gene of interest you have, that particular colonies you can pick and you can actually make them grow. Okay. So the vector types and the insert sizes are present here, which could be used for the genomic DNA library. Plasmids up to 10 kilobases, phage lambda 25, plasmids 45 kilobases, bacteriophage up to 100 kilobase pairs, PAX, that is P1 artificial chromosomes up to 150 kilobase pairs, BAX 300 kilobase pairs, and YAX 2000 kilobase pairs. Insert size could be used inside the genomic DNA library. And the formula, this is the important formula you have to remember. N is equal to ln of 1 minus P by ln of 1 minus. Here minus symbol will come 1 minus F. N means number of recombinants. P is the probability that the fragment will be present in the genome. And F is the fractional proportion of genome in the single recombinant. Okay. So making of a genomic library, you're going to take the cells, from that you're going to extract the total DNA. Using the restriction endonuclease, you're going to cut it into fragments and you're going to put that in a vector using the enzyme ligase and put it inside a bacteria. This is the recombinant plasmid. Okay, this is the recombinant plasmid. From the recombinant plasmid, you're going to transform it into a bacteria or a bacteriophage, whichever is suitable vector host. Then you're going to clone large genomic DNA fragments by infecting with packaged recombinant phage vectors. Here they have not used E. coli, instead they have used phage. Infection replication, using the replication of the phage vectors, you will get so many DNA colonies. And you can screen them using the plaques. Okay, after you grow in the agar plate, plaques will be formed. Okay, the plaques will tell you about the colonies. So library on a spread the library on bacterial lawn on agar plate. You can lyse the phage. The phage will basically lyse the bacterial cell. Okay, the phage will basically lyse the bacterial cell and it will form like a plaques. And that plaques, each plaque will contain your one fragment of genomic DNA. You can do replica plating method. About this we have already studied in the previous class. Replica plating method can be done. Then you can do hybridization using a probe and audio radiograph to find which particular clone is of your interest and pick up the clone and grow it. That is all about the genomic DNA library, guys. Very simple concept, not much to by heart or something. Very easy to understand also. Okay. So if you are a CSIR NET aspirant and are interested in joining an academy platform, you can do that by following Neha Taneja ma'am, and you can get 10% off by using the referral code NEHA. Okay. You can like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel Gurmatra Shiksha Ka Granth. You can join our Telegram channel where you will get regular updates about the classes. And if you have any queries, you can contact us. Thank you so much and have a nice day.